All right. When you die, do you? So I know we've talked about this on the show a number of times. Like, what would you like to happen to your body, or like, do you give a fuck what happens to your body? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be used for science?
Taken into the sky by hawks and vultures.
Yeah, right.
thing,
Sky burial. Yeah.
Or planted as a tree.
Planted as a tree. There is a million different things that you can do with your body when you're dead. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have a specific thing that kind of turns you on, or the idea of it turns you on in terms of like when you're dead?
It's funny because I've been thinking that I would like to be a tree, but you know what I've sort of like come to realize? I've gone through the experience of like having people in my life pass away over the last couple years.
Yeah.
And like my uncle passed away a couple weeks ago, and my grandfather like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And what I've come to realize is that like even what you really want, if you don't have it written down and like you're very specific about it, people are just gonna do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep, they're gonna go. Well, I guess he wanted to be pumped full of fucking formaldehyde and have clown makeup put on him so we can all stand around him in a room together.
That's just default setting.
That's what happened to my nan recently. You know, like they. I mean, I shouldn't say clown makeup. My nan looked. She looked. She didn't look
so rude.
I know. But you know what? It's true though, because they don't look like. Yeah. I mean, granted, it was a fucking Zoom funeral, and so I had to see my nan through a phone.
Would you ever think that those words would come out of someone's mouth? It was a Zoom
fucking
funeral.
weird time.
But I was.
But she didn't look herself. That was my point. It's like it doesn't look like her. You know, like you don't look like you in that moment.
You don't look 30 years younger than you were when you died.
No, like no matter how hard I mean, our friend Caitlin, who does it for a living, you know, no matter how good she is, she's not going to make anyone's nan look like nan.
Well, the problem is you've been dead for like a pretty significant amount of time when the people get to see you again, right?
Yeah,
like
as far as
like
dead time goes,
it's been like a handful of days, and like your body is like responding biologically to the way that that it does when you die. So
okay,
like you're like ballooning up. I was going to say that I wanted to become a tree, but
okay,
but I also say that like as it makes me feel good. It makes me like feel good in my heart to say that
to know that you'll become a fucking Disney movie like in real life, like
But
you get to live out the rest of your life as a tree amongst trees.
I like to think that, but at the same time, I realize that I haven't told anybody in my life, so I feel like if I died, I would likely not become a tree.
What would you do?
So I actually just not knowing what we're going into today is completely separate. I actually had this thought yesterday. And I was talking about it, but I wasn't talking about it in reference to me. But now that you asked this question, that's exactly what I think I would like, which I don't think is legal. Is you guys know Windhorse Farm?
Yep.
And at Windhorse Farm, which is like a like a retreat sort of like woodsy getaway near us, they had this horse that lived on the property there. And there's this like really big, wide, expansive meadow that the horse in the last couple of years of his life was just roamed there fully. And there was a period where
is that horse dead now?
Yeah.
So, buddy.
So the owners knew that the horse was, very close to dying. So they just let it go and live up there fully. And it just laid down and died.
Whoa.
Like, the meadow.
Yeah.
So, the meadow.
Giant field that
and you imagine
runs
it's
up
like,
this beautiful hill.
Like rectangular-ish in shape from like the top down, like if you were looking at an aerial view. And only like 30 feet in from the edge of the wood line, like tree line, the horse just laid down and died there.
Took a forever nap.
I'm not sure where you're going with this. If you're comparing yourself to the horse or if you want to be
There's
fertilizer
no comparison to the horse. I am not a horse. But the horse just goes in, lays down, dies 30 feet in past the tree line. And
it's very poetic.
And a bunch of, whatever creatures are living around there go and eat the horse, becomes food for them.
Horse tartare.
Then
They just
start,
leave it there?
Then they just leave it there. The creatures come, eat the horse, eat everything. Then they go around and then they start shitting, and they're shitting you back into the soil. Then you become a part of the ground, and then you start feeding everything. And then the cool part is that the bones, dude, there's a whole horse skeleton just sitting there full, and it's like clean.
Because it's been like picked.
Yeah, because it's been
clean
picked
from
clean
other
from.
animals,
Yeah. Which I was like, that'd be cool. And then I actually had that thought yesterday. I was telling this same story to somebody, I think my mom, and I went, I feel like it must be illegal to just like leave a corpse outside in the woods.
It 100% is for sure.
Yeah, unless I think it's like there's rules around, because it's like you can bury like your uncle if you own like a big enough piece of land.
Yeah.
That it doesn't interfere with water supply and like yada yada whatever.
Like
So I'm sure you could just toss. I'm sure you could also just be like, all right, I'm gonna toss the body.
Like you guys, and start an investigation.
Yeah,
you know, like you guys aren't gonna take me down to Point Pleasant and toss me in the woods.
Our local park. Listen, I think that both of these things are valid ideas, and sure, it's great. I do love the idea of the sky burial. If you're not familiar with it, go Google it. It's fucking rad. But what I'm about to show to you right now, which recently just happened, is far more fucking metal than
I like metal.
any of that shit. And when I say metal, I mean legitimately metal. A man known as Prince Midnight has constructed a functioning guitar from the skeleton of his dead uncle.
Okay, I feel like that's illegal.
Dude.
I feel like that has to be illegal.
Yo, okay, so it's a fucking wild story, but here it is. So
how does he get all the bones?
So Uncle Philip was his name. Uncle Philip was a resident of Greece, and as you may or may not know, Greece has a pretty large population of Orthodox Christians.
I thought you were going to say a pretty laid back approach to life. And I was like, okay, I can see where this is going.
Well, according to the sort of like beliefs of the Orthodox Christian Church, cremation is like a big no-no. So you never cremate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, neither did I. So Uncle Philip died in this car accident about 20 years ago. Okay, so this was quite a while ago. And the family, or actually Philip himself, had requested to have his skeleton donated to a local college for educational uses. So the
Dude,
college...
I just want to say he requested and his request wasn't even followed through with. So
No. Hold on.
Tree,
No, you're jumping ahead though.
Yeah.
You're jumping ahead though. This
It
was
was like
20 This was 20 years ago. He got given to the university.
He got
He got to the university, and the university took him, used him, whatever, put him on display, however the fuck that,
Then
you know,
they got
whatever.
tired of him.
And then eventually no longer had any need for him. So 20 years later, they were like, all right, we don't need Uncle Philip.
20 years?
Yeah, 20 years at a university.
The university students picked his bones clean, and then that
For
was
real.
that.
So they go to give the body back to the family, and the family's kind of like, we don't know what to do with it. We don't want to cremate it. And so there was like this whole brouhaha about what to do with Uncle Philip. And Prince Midnight, who now lives in Florida, a Florida man, he stepped in and he basically was like, I want Philip's remains. So he filled out an extensive amount of paperwork to have Philip's bones sent to his home in the U.S. rather than pay for, a cemetery plot or anything like that.
As soon as you said that this guy was from Florida, this became way less surprising.
Yeah, I know, right? So he then, and if you'll take a look here, he then attached a guitar neck, pickups, volume knobs, a jack, strings, electronics, all to the bones of Philip's torso to make him a fully functioning electric guitar.
Skelecaster.
He named it Philip Skelecaster, as one would.
Wow.
Instead of a Telecaster.
That's insane.
And not only is it fucking gnarly as shit looking, dude, listen to this thing.
What are the connectors? The connectors are fake. Because those are.
Do you mean the connection between the rib cage?
Yeah.
Is it fake? I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe because it's really just
Those are connective
like
tissue.
fascia, right?
Yeah.
Dude, this guy's just playing his uncle. So according to he spoke to Metal Sucks, which is a online metal blog.
That would be a name of an online metal
so
blog.
ironic.
He said, I got a box of bones from Greece and didn't know what to do at first. Bury them, cremate them, put them in the attic. All seemed like poor ways to memorialize someone who got me into heavy metal. So I decided to turn Uncle Philip into a guitar, which proved to be challenging. I did a lot of research, and no one has ever made a guitar out of a skeleton. So I did it. I started out consulting two guys at Dean Guitars woodshop in Tampa, but
dude,
they got cold feet.
I got an idea.
Anyway, now Uncle Philip can shred for all eternity. That's how he would want it. I'm super proud of the project and how it serves to honor him in life as he has influenced
I don't know.
me.
I don't like when you're talking about him consulting people. Like, did he ever consult his Uncle Phil if, like, maybe before he died, like if maybe that's how he wanted his skeletal remains to be used?
I feel like if I died, now we're getting into the fucking conversation of like consent of people who are dead. And you know what? I'm sure that there's valuable conversations to be had there, but I got to say this right now.
It's not happening right now.
That fucking conversation ain't happening here right now. And I will say this, if I fucking died and the two of you were like, let's figure out a fucking thing to do with Jeremy's remains. I don't give a fuck what you chose. I would definitely be like, I'm down.
Yeah.
Do it. Dude, if Uncle Philip is like...
That's just trust between friends, baby,
Yeah,
you know?
if Uncle Philip's a fucking true metalhead and he's, let's say he's in heaven and he's looking down and going,
Unlikely.
Prince Midnight turned me into a fucking electric guitar. Dude, Uncle Philip is like, send me the tracks. Like, upload that shit to the cloud and send that shit up here. Dude, he loves it.
Maybe.
Upload that shit
Maybe.
to the
Maybe. Look at this. I mean, this is fucking insane. It's amazing. I don't think so. I think Uncle Philip fucking truly loved this stuff.
Dude, that's what I want to know. I want to know I want to know how he replaced the connective tissue.
Well, no, that's what the university did, dude.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's
you're
all.
probably right.
That's just a skeleton come from the
Yeah,
university. So they fill the
the vertebrae
discs
and
with
everything,
whatever, and
Dude, that is so gnarly.
isn't that
Whoa.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me ask a lot of questions of myself, like
Like, why are you such a
Oopsie.
Like, why you want to be a fucking tree?
yeah.
I
Soft.
immediately
You're
regret
the
my
you're the
decision.
fucking folk music of death, dude. All right, this is really fun. You guys.